Hey, Mike. What? Who's got next?
What's good, y'all? It's your man Hezo, and welcome back to the Blacktop, where I always got next, you feel me? So I was watching the All the Smoke podcast with Steven Jackson and Matt Barnes. Great podcast, by the way. And they have my man Dwight Howard on there. And it really got me thinking, I gotta do a video on Dwight Howard. One of my all-time favorite centers, probably my number 2 favorite center all time behind Ben Wallace. That's besides the point. And I was watching and I'm sitting there thinking, how is this dude not on the NBA 75 list? And I know it's been a huge topic. I wanted to do this video a while back, but I never really got around to it. But here we are. Be sure to subscribe to the channel if you are new. Leave a like on the video. Help me get to my first 500 subs. I'm on my way. So if y'all can help me get there, I'll greatly appreciate it. And let's get right into it. So again, this is kind of an older topic but has been kind of looming around the last couple months, in the fact that Dwight Howard was left off the NBA 75 team. And I do think it is really ridiculous. Again, I wanted to get this video out sooner, but I just never got around to it. Dwight Howard is one of the best centers we have ever seen. And I don't care what anybody says, he's probably a top 7 center of all time. When you look at the run that he had with the Orlando Magic, there was not many centers that were better at their peak than what Dwight was doing with the Magic. When you look at all of his accolades in terms of the All-NBAs, the Defensive Player of the Year, consistently in MVP conversation. He was one of the most dominant bigs and probably the best center for almost a decade straight. Almost a decade straight when he was with the Magic. Now, I know he kind of fell off once he left Orlando. He was okay with the Rockets. I think he made one All-Star team with the Rockets. He wasn't shit with the Lakers. Obviously, he won a championship with the Lakers way later in his career, which I don't think really holds any weight to Dwight's career. But what he was doing before that carried the Orlando Magic to the finals in 2009. The finals team, they were a pretty good team, I'm not gonna lie. That Magic team was good. But when you look at the run that they had and Dwight Howard at the helm being their best player as a center, when they went through Boston, I think at the time they were the defending champions, and I think that was in the semifinals. Played LeBron in the Eastern Conference Finals and beat him. Then they obviously lose to Kobe. What he did in that finals run to me was incredible, and for him to be a center in that era, well, not even really in the era, but one of the most dominant players in that league. He was surrounded by shooters. Rashard Lewis, I think, was an All-Star that year. Jameer Nelson was an All-Star as well, but them guys were playing off of Dwight when they were doubling Dwight in the post and he was kicking out to the open man, or he would kick it out to a man and then they would swing it around for the open pass or for the open shot. That was all set up by Dwight Howard and the dominance that he had in the paint while also dominating on the defensive end. He's one of the best defensive centers that we have seen, and yet he's not an all-70 or an NBA 75 player. It's ridiculous. At what point are some of these older guys going to be taken off the list? Like, it's crazy to say, and I know it's different eras. It really is different eras. It's very hard to compare eras. But come on, man. Look at the names on this list, and half the NBA fans, even if you're not a casual, if you're consistent and a big NBA fan, you're probably not going to know some of the names on this list. I don't know who the hell Bill Charman is. I've never heard of him. Dolph Shays. I never heard of Dolph Shays until 2K dropped a My Team card last year in 2K22. Like, come on, man. These dudes do not deserve to be on the list. They played back in the 50s and 60s, whatever it was, whatever era they're in. Hal Greer. Get the hell out of here. If you're going to sit there and tell me that Hal Greer decides to be on the list over Kyrie Irving, and I'm not even a Kyrie fan, but come on, man, that is ridiculous. It is absolutely disrespectful to modern day stars to think that just because these were like guys that played back then they deserve to be on it because they're legends. No, at some point, legends are gonna have to fall off of this list because there are new legends. Now I get it. Some guys are probably solidified. You know, the all-time greats really are solidified. I'm not gonna say those names because we know who they are. But other guys that were like, they were good in their era, but like I feel like they would not be anything in today's era. Guys like Billy Cunningham and Paul Azrin and Dolph Shays and Hal Greer, I already mentioned those names. Come on, man. To say that they are better than guys like Klay Thompson and Dwight Howard and Kyrie Irving and Tracy McGrady and Vince Carter and a lot of those guys that did not make the list that will obviously be on the top 100 list whenever that list comes out in another 25 years. But they deserve to be on this NBA 75 team. And I think you're crazy if you think otherwise. I'm not taking anything away from those guys. They were good in their eras, but I don't think they were ever very, very great players. I look at Bob Cousy. I don't think Bob Cousy was that great of a point guard. He just played on a great Celtics team. He couldn't, JJ Redick said it best. He couldn't even dribble with his left hand, and he never shot over 40% from the field, but yet he's an all NBA 75 player. Get the hell out of here. I'm just not hearing it, man. Dwight Howard was snubbed of this list, as well as a lot of other guys. And y'all gonna call me crazy, and RIP to the late great Bill Russell, but I'm taking Dwight Howard over Bill Russell 8 days out of the week. And say what you want on that. I really don't care. I get Bill Russell was an 11-time champion and all that, but again, it's a different era. He never shot over like 45%, and he never averaged over 20 a game. He was a defensive monster. I get it. But so was Dwight Howard, in a way different era, and I think a harder era, when there's more teams in an era that Bill Russell dominated back in the 60s, when there was like 8 or 9 other teams. Again, I'm not taking anything away from Bill Russell, so don't come at me and say I'm disrespecting a guy that we just lost this year, because I'm not. I give all the respect to Bill Russell, and I'm not taking anything away from him. RIP to him. But Dwight Howard, to me, was a better player and a better center. Y'all not gonna Bill Russell me to death. Y'all not gonna Hal Greer me to death, man. I'm tired of hearing these older dudes on these lists when they would get circles around them ran in today's NBA. Dudes like Dame, dudes like Curry, they are humiliating them dudes in today's NBA. I don't care. If you put Dolph Shays in the era where the power forward position was really dominant in the early 2000s, bro is getting humiliated. You can put Dwight Howard in any era and he's dominating. He's dominating in the 60s. He's dominating in the 70s. He's dominating in the 80s because he was such a monster in the paint. He was so athletic. He would dominate in any era. And I feel like a lot of guys on this list, you can't say that about. Look at Dwight Howard's career accolades and look at what he's done and compare him to some of the guys on that list. And it's better. He has a better career resume than a lot of guys on that list, but yet somehow he doesn't make the list. It's another rant video, man. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's another rant video because there's so many disrespected stars of all time, and I've already talked about 2 of them in my last 2 videos, and AI and Melo. So if y'all haven't had a chance, go and check those videos out as well. There's just so many disrespected stars, man. Again, Vince Carter and T-Mac are another 2 guys that should have been on that list that were not. A guy like Anthony Davis, how the hell does Anthony Davis make the list over Dwight Howard? It's insane to me. That is insane to me. I'm not saying that Anthony Davis isn't going to deserve to be on it by the end of his career, but the fact that he's on it right now, saying that he has had a better career to date than Dwight Howard is wild to me. I don't care about his championship, the bubble championship. I don't care about that shit. It was a fluke of a championship. Don't get me started on that. I don't know, man. Y'all tell me what y'all think. I'm gonna pretty much leave it there. Again, this was another rant video. I don't want to rant too long again. I'm gonna pretty much leave it there. Y'all let me know y'all's thoughts down in the comments. Do you think that Dwight Howard was snubbed off of this team? He'll obviously be on the NBA 100 team whenever it comes out in the next 25 years. Leave your thoughts down in the comment. Leave a like on the video, and I will catch y'all next episode.